That's neutral. Here's first. Yeah, it throws it up in the dash. I could bend it down, but not too bad. First, second, way down here, still out of my way. I can cut off a little bit, or like I said, bend it out a little bit away from the steering wheel. There's third, fourth, reverse. Depending on where my 4x4 shifter comes through, I might not touch it. She's in!
RenderForce.com.
Well, I got the transmission back together. As you see, I already put on the top cover, and I put on my vent. The reason I started all of this was to tap that hole and put that vent on there. I know it's super crusty and greasy and nasty, but like I said, it's going in a mud truck. I'll probably pressure wash it once before I toss it up in there. I mean, this case down here is not bad, but this up here has some good grime to it. I went ahead and put on the adapter for the T case. I took it off the T case. Had a big old oil spill because oil started coming out of the bottom bolt holes when I took it off. So I propped it up and it stopped leaking finally. So I'm still going to drain it out of there and put new fluid in there, but I'm going to inspect that next to make sure that's okay. But went ahead, cleaned up all my surfaces, RTV'd everything with black RTV. It is good to go. That's RTV'd on. Everything's RTV'd. Excuse me. It should be nice and sealed up, but I checked my shift action. It shifts nicely into all gears. So I think everything's good. I had to replace a couple of these pads. This one right here was a little bit boogered up and it fell off. The other ones, like I showed, were missing. The one on the reverse shift fork is still missing, but it goes in reverse just fine. If I have problems after I get some load behind it, then I'll have to take it off and do it. But I've ran transmissions without those pads, so it's not like it's gonna see 100,000 miles in the next 10 years or something. Maybe I won't even see 1,000 miles in a year. So we'll see how it does. I'm gonna see if I can find a plug for my reverse light. See if I can get that hooked up and working. I'd like to actually hook that up to my rear lights. That would be nice, because right now I don't have anything hooked up and I have to manually flip a switch to go and to show my reverse lights. So I'd like to get that hooked up so I don't have to do that every time and everybody knows when I'm backing up, because sometimes it gets a little sketchy on the hills. So basically it's ready to, after I wash it, it's ready to toss up underneath there. I'll take this off before I do that, and I'll throw it on a jack with a few boards, and lift it up in there and see if we can't get this guy locked in place. Luckily the T case bolts are easy to get to, and this will make it much lighter, much lighter. The only thing I'm worried about with that is lining up these splines when I raise the T case in there. But I should be able to turn the yoke on the T case and line them up. It shouldn't be too bad. T case feels real nice and smooth. I don't think there's any issues with it. These are usually pretty indestructible. So since it's gear to gear, so I think we'll toss this up in there after we wash it off, or whatever I end up doing. I might even not even wash it off. I don't know. But for those of you wondering, this was an 1/8 inch NPT tap that I ran down in this hole. The old cover, let me show you that. It had a pressed in vent that I could not, I tried hammering it, but I didn't want to break it. Tried prying on it. Couldn't get it off, so whatever. I guess I could have used this top cover, but it was missing a pin, and I don't know. It just didn't seem as good a shape as the 70s one. That one over there is off the 90s transmission. This one's off the 70s. So, what I'll do is, I just want some hose, and I'll just slip that hose right down on there, and I'll run that somewhere up underneath the frame. Might even bring it up in the cab with me, up through the transmission cover, just to keep it out of the water, out of everything. So, and we have a transmission mounted. Did that earlier today. Wasn't too bad. I did it by myself. I was going to have a buddy come over and help, but I decided since I split the transfer case and transmission, I could tackle it myself. I've pulled plenty of transmissions and engines and whatever else by myself and installed by myself, but a second hand is always nice. I just didn't have it at the time. I could have, but I didn't want to wait. I just wanted to get it in there. So, got it all in there. I got my slave cylinder all hooked up and functioning. I've put it in gear, and I can't turn the shaft right there, and I push the clutch in, leave a board. I use a 2x4, actually a 4x4, to hold the clutch, and I get down here and I can spin that shaft. So, clutch is working good, as it should. It's all basically new. I do have a leak on my master cylinder. It's like just oozing out just a little bit on the inside of the cab. I need to check that out. Maybe I need to get a new master cylinder. I'm not sure. But good news is, I think that's about the height the tranny is going to sit. That plate is pretty level with the frame. And it is right in line with my radius arm mounts. If we go over here to the side, you can see it is right in line with them. So I'll be building a cross member to utilize the radius arm mounts, and that'll basically, you know, keep the radius arm mounts solid. I shouldn't have a problem building that. It's pretty simple. This is a nice wide, you know, it's a 1/8 inch plate on the bottom of there. I'll just throw a plate on the bottom and, you know, build something over to this. This, depending on where the output yoke is on the MP205, you know, I might have to build it down like this or something on this side. That side's pretty straightforward, straight across, you know. Exhaust, if I drop the exhaust, then I'll take the cross member out and do it that way. Maybe I'll build a 2-piece cross member if I need to take out that side. To take the exhaust out, I can just drop one side and keep the transmission mounted, because the transfer case will be mounted as well. But I still have yet to figure out where that mount is going to be on the transfer case. I'm thinking it's going to be right in this area, pretty high up. It's about 13 inches from center there to basically the edge of the frame. And that's what I measured on the transfer case to where those 3 bolts are. So I might be wrapping something around on the outside of the frame, on something out here, wrapping down a piece of angle or something. I haven't figured it out yet. But I got a bunch of junk in here. You know, this is going to go away. This is going to go away, I think. This is going to go away. That plug's going to go away. So I'll be cleaning up this area before I put the transfer case in here, because there's just some junk that I just need to get rid of. I don't even know what this plug's for. This is that thing right here that's going away. I don't even know what this plug's for. I don't know if that's for seat belt, for the back seat. I don't know. But, yeah, like I said, transmission's in. Wasn't too bad. Lined up perfectly. I made my cut in the floor. I'll go up above and show you here in just a second. Made my cut in the floor, and she slid right in there. Wasn't a problem. The only problem was that I actually had was that I took the shifter out because I didn't want that long shifter handle, having to fight that going in that hole and dragging it underneath the Bronco with the shifter handle, whatever. I could not leave it in gear and pull the shifter out. It seemed like it locked the shifter in, and I didn't want to get anything jammed up where I couldn't get the shifter back in. So I just left it in neutral, put it in there, and then I put the shifter in after the transmission was close to mating with the clutch, so I could spin that rear shaft to line up the splines on the clutch. So let's jump up top and I'll show you what I got going on up there. All right, as you can see, the shifter actually kind of fits the way it is. I know a lot of guys have issues with it getting up in the dash. Now mine does. This is new. Well, actually, that is second gear right there. It puts it kind of close to the steering wheel. I plan on bending the shifter around to accommodate where I want the gears to fall. So if second's there, first gear throws it way up there in the dash. Actually, I can't get it in the first because it's a little bit off-centered because it's not moving right now. If I move it around, maybe hit, that's reverse. Not too bad. That's a pretty good spot. I'd like it over this way more because I don't want first and second that close to the steering wheel. So if I, okay, there's neutral. There's fourth gear. Fourth gear puts it pretty close to the dash. Not too bad. Like I said, I'd like it farther this way. Like, you know, over here. So first gear is like right there. So if I shift this, if I can get this in, there's first gear. See, first gear throws it way up there. So if I bend that back and over to like here, I should be good to go. I mean, that's all the way in first. You can see where I had to notch the floor out. I went 3 inches from the edge of the stock opening. This hole right here is this hole on the automatic floor pan training tunnel cover. And then that hole is that hole, and so on and so forth. So I will be using this. I need to trim it to go around the shifter mountain. I'm going to call it that. Shifter cone, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I won't have to trim it much, just a little bit. So I'll probably just like trim like a circle out of it or something just to keep it tight up on there. Not too tight because I know it's going to be flex between the body and the cone. So, and I might even cut off some more over here because it's actually right up against that, and I got some breathing room over here. So I might trim that back a little bit more, just give me some breathing room. You see, I had to take my gauges down because, well, the shifter was right where they were. Right, they were actually right there on that screw, and I had to take them down. I think I'm just going to scoot them over more towards my side of the truck and leave them there. So, like I said, I'm just going to use the stock shifter. Save me a lot of work, save me some money instead of buying those stupid Heim joints, because those Heim joints can be costly. So, like I said, there's first, there's second. It's pretty close. I mean, I'm touching the steering wheel and the shifter right there. Third's good, but I got to bend it for first and second. Fourth. Reverse. It's hard to get it in there when the engine isn't moving and I need to add fluid. it's still pretty dry from when I had it all apart. I need to take the shifter off and pour my quartz down in there. So yeah, that's basically it from up here. Pretty easy. There's my vent tube right there. My reverse light plug I will end up using eventually. All right underneath the tunnel cover. I did mock up the 4x4 shifter. So there's the 4x4 shifter. I kind of just threaded the bolt in there, but depending on where, I mean, that's pretty far back. I might have to move this over. Depending on where they are, you know, it could be here, 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 or back to here. You know, that's with the bolt in there. That's going to be great, because then all I have to do is cut a slot in this, right where that's at, and it'll be nice and sealed up. I'll put some heat wrap around the tranny mountain, keep out some of that heat. This will obviously have less heat than the automatic. The automatic just dumped in hot air, and I will, yeah, I'll be able to use the stock 4x4 shifter, which is awesome. Because if I put that back over in second, it still doesn't hit, which it shouldn't. Came from a running truck, but like I said, I just need to check exactly where that's gonna fall. Awesome. That's good stuff. Very pleased. Very pleased I'll be able to use the stock shifter. Pleased the 4x4 shifter doesn't have to be modified too much. If anything, just bent a little bit to clear the center console. But that's loose as it is. I'm going to have it forward the most of the time anyways. So no matter what it says, I'm going to have it up here all the time and forward low. So that doesn't matter. That's cool. Awesome. All right. Next step is to mount the T-case. And it's getting pretty late tonight. I think I will be mounting it tomorrow. Well, no, I take that back. I take that back 100%. I need to figure out exactly how I'm going to build my cross member before I get this heavy dude up in there. I want this in the way when I am putting that fabricating that cross member. That won't be fun. So I'll either use, I have some rectangle tube, I have some C channel, I have a bunch of stuff. I'll figure something out how I'm going to do it. I've been looking online and a lot of guys, and some guys are using tube and plate, some guys are using angle and plate, some guys are using square tube, rectangle tube, everything. So I'll figure something out. It won't be the stock cross member cut well the plates like I had before. It's going to be something custom. So that's my next step. So all right guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.